Hello there. I have a plan. I want to make a jacket inspired by Cyberpunk 2077. The other day I went to the second-hand shop and I actually struck gold by finding a very special material, which is this neon green, yellow, I don't even know what it is. But since I've already fallen into the rabbit hole of Cyberpunk, I figured this is the perfect opportunity for me to actually recreate something from the game. But since I am not a cosplayer, I have the pleasure of doing whatever the fuck I want, because I don't have to follow whatever I see in the computer game, and I can just do whatever I want. So I'm going to make my version of a Cyberpunk jacket. Is this going to be one of the most complicated sewing builds I've ever made? Yeah, most likely, because I've never made jackets before, and I feel it's very close to like tailoring and making something that really fits well on your body. So yeah, what's the plan? First of all, I need to make a mock-up. I kind of already started making one. It's not really that interesting for you guys to see me just sit and think anyways, so I will show you the somewhat finished mock-up. The only thing there's still left to do is the sleeves. I don't know how to do sleeves, like, why is sleeves like the hardest part of the garment? I mean, make sense. Also, I don't want to make like a boring one-piece sleeve. I want to make something that fits the rest of the style of the jacket. So far, the mock-up process has been pretty straightforward. I've used my already existing leather jacket, which is 2 sizes too small for me, as a template to kind of like start the patterning process. I don't know why, I'm not sure if I'm doing it right, but the pattern so far actually seems surprisingly simple. Like it's very geometric, which really fits the style of what I'm trying to achieve. I've been mesmerized by the Deadly Lagoon jacket style in the game, so I'm kind of trying to capture the same vibes, but with my own twist on it. Also, I need to take this jacket off. I can't feel my arms anymore. Okay, enough of me talking and more of me doing. Let's get to the crafting part. Well, alrighty there, this is my mock-up. You know what's the most difficult part of mock-upping process is you do all this work to create the garment, and then you have to redo the entire thing to make the actual garment. But it's worth it because I'm very, very limited on my actual materials, so I don't have any room for error. I guess it's not really gonna be in my video if the cat is not represented, so... Hello, big drama. So where was I? Stop it! I'm very limited on the actual materials I'm going to use for this project, so I have to be pretty precise with my mock-upping process. I've been brainstorming the sleeve conundrum for a while now, and I think I kind of figured out a little solution how I'm gonna approach this. I already have this very spiky half a sleeve attached here, but I now need to do like the bottom half of the sleeve, but it will be practically impossible to just kind of measure and align these triangle pits. So I think what I'm gonna do instead is I will take this piece and I will just sew it or like pin it on the upper half of the sleeve, and then I will try to trace the triangles directly on this piece of fabric and then cut them out and try to sew them together. Yeah, let's see how it's gonna be. Yo guys, I think I nailed it first try. How is this even possible? This is like the best sleeve I've ever made in my entire life. Like, it's not tight. I can actually lift my arms. Okay, it is tight. It's tight at the elbow, which is new, but I think this is like the easiest fix by just adding a couple more centimeters of seam allowance. But see, I can move my arms. Like, it has just a tiny bit of like this weird thing here. Honestly, I think it's fine. Anyways, this is the jacket, the mock-up. I'm really happy how the pattern has turned out. What I will do is I will add like more decorative elements on this seam areas on the back and the front, but hey, we're onto something. We're really onto something. Yeah. Don't mind this. Yeah, let's not talk about this one. We are really happy. A lot of good work has been done. So now comes the worst parts of any mock-up in Craft. I have to now cut this entire thing apart, which hurts, physically hurts so much, because like it's hours of work and like patterning and processing, and now I'm just gonna like cut it all open. Ugh, I don't want to do this. It like hurts. That's how it works. So next time I can do it on the real materials. And let's continue. Remember how I said that the pattern is surprisingly simple? Yeah, scratch that. I don't think I've ever made a garment that has so many different pattern pieces. So yeah, that went from 0 to 100 once I cut the mock-up open, because when I made the mock-up, I just made like simple squares and then I started tailoring them into shape. Now I have a lot of different shapes, and that's not even all of it because I didn't pattern all the decoration pieces yet. That's a later problem, you know, tomorrow, next week, next month, whenever I'll get to it. Now it's time to start cutting out the actual pieces, so let's introduce you to the materials. The main body of the jacket is going to be made with this relatively standard gilded jacket material, but I wanted to contrast this with another color, so I have to make another gilded sheet of material out of another color. Talking is difficult. So for that, I have this silky purple, same like lining material, which I have to combine with this glue fabric to give it the same amount of thickness and workability than the black gilded material. I've never done gilding with like silky materials, and I've never done like glue backing, so this is a new technique for me. I'm a bit scared because gilding with normal cotton is already an absolute nightmare. Like, it's impossible to get it straight and nice. Now, I'm sure it's gonna look a bit homemade, but you know, it's fine. And finally, I have this yellow plasticky, I don't even know what it is. It has like a fabricy backside and a very shiny plasticky top side. It's a bit dirty. I got it from a thrift shop, so... But I think a little dirt is fine, honestly, because this jacket is supposed to be something from Cyberpunk, and you know, if you played Cyberpunk, everything is a bit gritty and dirty and worn and torn, so it's fine. I don't mind to have like a natural weathering to it already. I think this material is going to be the easiest to work with because it's like literally like plastic. So I'm going to use this for the bottom trim and all the decorative items. I don't want to like overdo it because it is very neon. I want my main body of the garment to be with the black and purple combination. Yeah, I'm scared, excited but scared. Roll the montage. Sorry for the weird framing. I was trying to fit both myself and the project in one frame, which was a bit of a struggle. Anywho's, I'm going to attempt to use now the glue fabric to prepare the gilded sheets for the purple shade. So yeah, let's see how it's gonna go. I basically just cut out very oversized sheets. Hopefully they will stick, and then I will just gild them, and then I will cut out the final pattern, because you want to do the final pattern cut the last, because gilding will shrink the original original size of the sheet. Hopefully it makes sense. I'm terrible at explaining things, so yeah. Anyways, my iron is hot now. It's ready to go, and let's see if it's gonna work. Fingers crossed. By the way, don't you dare to charge my ironing table. I don't have one, so I just use a towel and wooden boards. It works. I have the iron on medium to high heat. I'm not gonna use any watering. So basically what I read is you want to use the good side of the fabric for ironing because the glue will move towards the heat. I'm gonna start from this really tiny edge because I'm a bit nervous how it's gonna go. Hopefully I won't burn anything. Oh yeah, I can see like an immediate shade change. I'm like very careful and light-handed about it. It worked. It's in one piece now. Well, kinda. I have 5 more sheets to go, so let's get to it. Small confession to make. I was low-key hoping that I don't have to do the whole gilding with multiple layers of material. I was hoping that the glue on fabric will be enough alone, but unfortunately this is not the case because the glue on fabric kind of flattened out once I fused it on the main layer. So I still have to go through sewing like 100 rows of straight lines, which is a small nightmare for me. I just wanted to actually show you something else. If you are someone who sews a lot, or like doesn't even have to be a lot, but like let's say a considerable amount, get yourself one of these. This is a box of bobbins where I prepare like 5 to 10 rolls of bobbin threads. And every time I run out of bobbin thread, I don't have to like stop my work, unthread my entire machine, roll a bobbin, etc, etc. I can just pick one from the box, and I kind of already know how much bobbin thread I need per project, so I've already prepared everything for this one. And incidentally, I just ran out of bobbin threads, and see, I can just pop it open, take a roll, pop this one out, pop a new one in, catch the thread, and boom, we are ready to continue. I can't stress enough how big of a quality of life thing it is. It costs you like a couple of euros in any craft store. Just do it, trust me. Like this is, if you run out of bobbin mid-project and you don't have another one to pick up like this, honestly, there isn't a bigger motivation killer. I'm not joking, I haven't quit projects because of this. If you want a full tutorial on how I do gilded garments, maybe you've seen some of my other videos and you've seen I do a lot of medieval gilded garments. I have a dedicated video on Patreon that describes how to buy, maintain and create gambesons, which is like the medieval version of what I'm doing right now basically. Check it out, it's for free. No extra subscriptions costs anything needed. I just put it on Patreon unlisted because it's a bit outside of my like usual YouTube niche. Yeah, I mean, if you do wish to support me, of course, more than welcome, but don't feel obligated. Like, I am not the sizable YouTuber that would, that would have the required consistency and, credibility also for you to invest money into my doings. Not yet, at least. Maybe in the future. But at the same time, like, if you do wish, of course, like, I would appreciate it. Maybe one day I will become a sizable YouTuber. Allow me to insert a little throwback here for you, just to refreshen the memory, for the old time's sake.
I think this material is going to be the easiest to work with because it's like literally like plastic.
You see, I was definitely right about one thing in that statement, which is, yes, this material indeed is literally like plastic. And it acts like one too. Oof. Excuse my outrage. So, I spent like solid 4 hours yesterday after my first day back to work, which adds to the spiciness of my mood right now. And I ended up with this atrocity. Let me add a little zoomed in clip for you so you can enjoy my failures, my suffering. Okay, jokes aside, so what I'm gonna do about it? It is indeed for sure that I'm not gonna go through the suffering of doing this entire thing again, because it's gonna just end up the same as it is right now. There are two issues. The material is pretty like stretchy, and if I'm sewing it with the already layered material underneath, it just kind of slides around and stretches, and it just creates these weird wrinkles here. To be honest, like now that I'm looking at this thing on the viewfinder is a nice thing because it really zooms out what you see, and it's a really teeny tiny screen also. You can definitely see something that scratches the eye, and it actually like scratches the eye. It's too much neon, it's too much yellow. I like the more subtle detail I have on the upper back here, even though it's also not quite perfect because the material is also see-through. Why? Rage. You know what? I just want to get this jacket done. I don't care anymore. You know what? It is what it is. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to pick it off, this entire bottom trim, and I will instead add just details. Similar detail like I have up here, but I'm just gonna replicate this thing down here. So there's going to be this rectangle thingy down here on the lower back. I will also add these details to the side seam here like it is right now, and probably something in the front too. The vision was okay. I had a good idea in my head, but it doesn't work, so I have to let go. So let's try with just the details. Hopefully the seam lines I already have here are not going to be too visible, and I'm able to cover them up with the new ones. Is this project drifting further and further away from my original Blue Lagoon jacket idea? Yeah, it is, but like I said, I'm not a cosplayer, so I have my creative freedoms with my projects. I had an idea, and now it's evolving into something of my own, and I don't have to like worry about copying someone else's work. It is going to be my own personal creation, which I can be proud of. I'm back. I had to take a small break for a few days. I really didn't feel like filming, to be honest. Like I mentioned last clip, I'm back to work, and the first week is not going swimmingly, let me put it this way. Anywho's, not to like pause this project for too long, I did some off-camera work. I attached the collar, I redid the yellow bits in the bottom here like I described. So did it work? Yes, I think it did. I think I actually quite like how it's turning out now. And now it is time to move on to sewing some pockets. Okay, I'm coming to a bit more normal camera height here. But yes, now I need to do some pockets. They will be in the front here between the purple and the black seam. Have I ever done pockets before with the zippers? Nope. Never. I think I have a plan how to do it with the least amount of brain damage possible, because the collar already gave me a lot of brain damage, and also fitting the lining. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sew the zipper on my seam allowance, and then I will unpick the seam to expose the zipper, and I will hand sew the pocket liner onto the zipper and seam allowance, because that is too delicate work for me to do with a machine, especially with this lining material, because it sleeve is very slippery. Let's figure this out together, I guess. I am not excited to do that, but I want pockets, so we shall see. By the way, I'm gonna apologize in advance. I am not super high on energy. I am not super entertaining. The only thing I'm just super tired, to be honest. Like, work is really getting the best out of me. I'm really sorry, but I want to continue this journey and I want to continue making content, because the more I work on this, the more I do this, the better I get, and that's the only way to just push forward. Let's continue. Well, it has been officially 2 weeks since I last recorded anything about this project, but not all hope is lost. I've actually worked just tiny bit every single night, or every other night, and check this out, smooth. We have buckets, actual functional buckets. The cat is in an absolute mood, so excuse the noise. Anyways, I'm really happy to call the buckets a great success. I only had to unpick them like 4 times or so, but now they're here. They're not the most perfect ones because I don't have a zipper foot for my sewing machine, so yeah, sure, they could be better, but you know what? It is what it is. I've been back to work now 3 weeks, and corporate is sucking the very soul out of me, and I just want to be done with this project. I really do. I'm sorry if it's very demotivating. I can't stall any longer the project of sleeves. I have all the pieces prepared, which makes it a bit more easier. The sleeves are made out of 4 different parts, which are all in very odd shapes. I was smart enough to pre-mark my pattern before I cut it open to at least know how to puzzle this thing back together. So that's pretty much it. Rinse and repeat. Honestly, I think this is why sewing projects are kind of boring for YouTube, because it's just, hey, I have a pattern, it's very complicated, now I'm gonna pin it together, sew it together, and hope for the best. And this is going to be exactly this. So let's do sleeves. So just to show you the complexity of the pattern, as you can see, the sleeves are going to be also 2-colored. I made all of these markings, all the triangles, the squares, and I named the pieces also, just that it would be kind of possible to put it together later. So next step is to pin all of these together, just to try it out, how it sits. I'm going to pin it also on the jacket before I will sew it together, because with the mock-up we did have an issue of a bit of tightness in the elbow area, and I did upscale the patterns noticeably. So let's see how this affects the final result. Well, it is almost unbelievable to think that I started this project 3 months ago, or even more, and I have finally reached to the finishing line. The sleeves are done. I almost rage quit, 10 times, but they're done. They're not perfect, but they're done, and that is good enough in our household. They have zippers. Fancy. I also added some cool patches on the sleeve and also to the front to, spice things up a little bit. Yeah, don't mind my voice. I'm sick again. It is what it is. Stress, life, all that. But we are really, really close to finishing this project, and I cannot wait and I am committed to finish it all today. One go, no more delays, no more taking time. I'm basically technically just 3 seams away to call this entire thing done. I have already pinned the zipper to the front, so basically now I'm just gonna take it to the sewing machine, attach the zipper, finish the bottom, and the project is complete. Let's get it done. This project is finally done. Oh my god. Nearly 4 months of work in one jacket. I even don't have words, to be honest, at this point. I am just so incredibly happy that it's finally done. I don't even know how to conclude this. Am I happy with the end result? Yes, absolutely. Hell yes, 100% happy. I don't think I could have done it better in any way. Is it perfect? Oh, hell no. You know, there are some elements which are crooked. I had to redo some panels, so, the front wouldn't be crooked. There are loose threads here and there. It doesn't matter. It's done. It's wearable. It looks almost, nearly like something you could purchase from a shop. It's almost underwhelming because I don't really have anything much to add. Besides, let's check out the final result. Like and subscribe.